I was just talking about how ignorance and how people here sometimes they don't drive badly because they're bad people. Sometimes they just drive badly because no one's ever told them not to, or no one's ever pointed out how dangerous some of the things that they do are, you know what I mean? They do things on a daily basis, and they see other people doing those same things, and not one person has ever said to them, that's dangerous, or you could die doing that. No one's ever said that to them, so they never think of it. You know, I think common sense should dictate they would just figure it out, but common sense for one person isn't necessarily common sense for another. And speaking of which, I want to tell you guys about something horrible. There's been a couple of foreigners that have gone down on their motorcycles recently. And this is part of my interactive video series, so I'm going to supply some links on the side for that, but don't click on them yet. Let me give them a little introduction. The first one is a friend of mine, and he actually is a friend of mine. He lives close to me, and we've had lunch together a couple times. He's not a good friend in the sense that we don't hang out on a regular basis, or actually I don't think we've ever really hung out. We run into each other on the street, but when we run into each other, we usually talk for like 20 minutes. One time I ran into him at KFC, and we sat together and we talked for like an hour or two, and we've talked on the phone a couple of times. We exchanged emails. Anyways, his name's Mark, and he's somewhat of a TV star in Taiwan. He's a white American. He's a bodybuilder, and he's a huge guy, and he speaks fluent Chinese. And because of that, he's you don't get many 6'2" white bodybuilders that are fluent in Chinese in Taiwan. So, and he's got he's got a good personality, and he's outgoing and very outspoken, and that gets him onto TV. And he's a funny guy too. He does a lot of comedy skits and stuff. Anyways, he was riding a scooter, and nobody really knows what happened, but he had a helmet on. Unfortunately, it was only a half helmet. And he hit a dividing wall, like one of these cement walls on the side here, at a good speed. And his head took a good blow, and he suffered brain swelling, which put him into a coma. And the brain swelling was so bad that they had to cut open the top of his head to let the swelling go down. And I think he's still in a coma, but he's coming out of it. He's slowly coming out of it. Like he responds. Like if you put your hand in his hand and you tell him to squeeze your hand, he'll give it a squeeze, etc. So he's responsive, and he's becoming more responsive with time. So it seems that he's going to wake up, and that's good. When he first had the crash, the news was reporting that he had like a 2% chance of living, which was just bullshit, because he was getting better and better by the minute, by the hour. Anyways, yeah, and you can, if you want to read about it, you can click on link number 1, and that'll take you to a Taiwan forum that discusses it. And if you want to, you can donate money to help him with his medical bills, because even though he has medical insurance, it's not going to be enough to cover his bills. And the other accident, which is more relevant to that idiot driver that we just saw and riding in the mountains and whatnot, there was okay. I'm going to take a picture here. Safe place to pull over, so. It's not that pretty here, actually. Well, it's pretty enough, but there are better views. I'll take a picture anyways. I'm already stopped. Ooh, that's a big spider web there. Oh, I can see the spider. The spider's not too big. You get spiders here that's bigger than my hand, honestly. One time I was riding along on a highway, and there was a spider that was big enough to block out the sun, and it had built its web on like on a lamp post, a street light, and like the part where the street light was like part of its web, and then the web went down to pretty much the bottom of the street light. So the whole street light was a spider web, and the spider was big enough to block out the sun as I rode by. I should have went back and taken a picture of that, but I don't know why I didn't. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a so-so picture. But anyway, that'll be link number 2 on the side in the description of this video. Click on link number 2 for that picture.